Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 59 of Just Chillin'. It is just me here today. Mainly because I wanted to kind of take a minute and kick things back off. I know I've been saying I wanted to do this for a while, and I had some things on the work, which I do. I have been behind the scenes, kind of uh, coming up with different ideas of ways to continue the pod um, that are like meaningful and kind of still true to the original nature and character of the pod and kind of what we set out to do. Um, it's taken me a little while. It's taken me to taken me a little while to kind of get back going again, for obvious reasons, but I I know that there's always kind of in the back of my mind been that pressure of like Andy would want me to continue the pod. He'd want me to continue to talk about the stuff that we were both passionate about, and that is what this is. It obviously took some time. Um, I gave myself a little bit more than a break. I think I'd say a little bit more than a break. To kind of sit in the shit as we like to say here around the house. Um, just kind of feel the feels and kind of just go through it and I do want to say I want to say thank you to all the friends of the pod who've reached out over gosh the countless months and just kind of stayed in touch and reached out and were like and really thoughtful and caring and checking up on me and just making sure and like you know it is easy to kind of fall into that pit and be like, well, that was a fun run, and I guess I'm now no longer friends with anybody, but, I mean, you know how that goes. But I do wanna say thank you. Thank you to everybody who reached out. Thank you to all the friends of the pod who've been awesome and supportive and all that, and even and encouraging too, encouraging me to continue the pod and always being, willing to jump on and carry on the kind of the legacy of what we'd started. But yeah, so thank you to all them. Thank you to Andy for pushing me to do this back in the day, and I'm gonna honor that by moving forward with it as well. Always with him in mind, his family in mind, his friends in mind, and sticking to what we set out to originally do, and that's to talk about the stuff that we are passionate about, the stuff that we enjoy, like, not take it too seriously, not get mired in the the news cycle bullshit of what's gonna release and what's not. Like, we can talk about it, but I don't wanna just become another one of those laser-eyed YouTubers or lost in the sauce news regurgitating channels that you see where people are just I don't know, they just seem miserable. Like, let's talk about the stuff that we enjoy. I've got a couple things in the works. You've probably heard about it on some of our friends' pods, or Patreon episodes. Um, there's one in the works. It's gonna take a little time because I gotta do some prep work and stuff for it. But I'm gonna be doing a series called Sean Doesn't Know Anything About Anime. Um, where I think it's one of those things where like I missed the train on like anime and how so many of our friends are connected so much to it and just kind of the how important that is to them. So as an outsider who's I mean I've watched them, but like I don't know or like actively consume a lot of anime. So it's going to be a fun little series, little sub series where I watched recommended anime, have some guests on to talk about it and try to bring a perspective of somebody who's new to it, like not very knowledgeable. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Um, Obviously gonna be doing the Star Wars stuff like we always do. And also talking about other things that we've watched. I'm gonna be having a lot of guests on. Sometimes I'll be doing solo stuff when I feel like there's something I want to talk about solo, but we're also gonna be having a lot of guests on. It's probably not gonna be weekly. Um, I am. You can catch me. You probably if you listen to our friends, you've probably heard me with our buddy Rick over on Jam Transmissions. Uh, I'm gonna continue to be doing that going forward, except for when we talk about books, because as you know, I can't read, um, or just refuse to make the time. Uh, but yeah, so that there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. We're getting back into, like, I hate to call it Star Wars season, um, but I think the break, especially over the last couple months, and for me personally, beyond the more immediate kind of well-known reasons. I think that even this, like, the last 2 months, I think the holidays and the New Year's were really good. Like, I've kinda taken a big step back from social media, finally deleted Instagram from my phone because that is a pit of never-ending brain fog. And I think it's really been helpful. We went home, visit the family, and I feel, like, rejuvenated. I've come back and watched a bunch of shows. Like, I think I binged Yellow Jackets in a week, which was surprisingly cathartic. The writing and the character development on that. I'm not here to argue with anybody, so don't come at me with this crap. Like, I loved it. I hate some of the characters, but that's a good thing. That means it's compelling. But all that to say, we can talk about all that other crap later. All that to say, I thought there would be the main point, the main topic of this episode is gonna be a brief one, but I thought it would be one that would be, I don't know, like, the right topic given the circumstances for me personally, and the pod itself. And for a little backstory, if you don't already know, um, even though I'm a huge Star Wars fan, um, I have only seen The Rise of Skywalker one time. I only saw it in the theaters the one time when it came out, um, and never again. Not because I hated it, not because of, whatever, whatever. But that was just for brutal honesty. I mean, that was right around the time, obviously right before COVID, but that was right around the time that my dad was going in for his lung transplant, and kind of that whole process of kind of kicked off right before COVID. And I know my dad was, I wouldn't say he was a huge Star Wars fan. He was more of a Trekkie, but he enjoyed Star Wars, and he enjoyed, like, when we were there visiting, prior to all this, like, I don't remember if it was Mando or something we were watching, but he really enjoyed it, and he was really excited about the upcoming movie. But then all of this stuff kind of happened, like, right as that movie released, like, right around that time. So kind of had to go back home, do all these different things, was really busy, wasn't able to go to the movie theater a lot. Um, and then just from there, I mean, the rest is history. That was an ordeal as a process. I mean, it was the starting with the lung transplant. It was that, then kicking off the complications from that, kicking off into COVID, um, being kind of stuck in Indiana with my mom, while my dad was still in a hospital in isolation and being separated from Madison because she was in California, had to work. And just that whole, like, 6-month ordeal before kinda getting away, never really being able to watch it again. And so, at the end of that, for those who don't know, my dad passed away. Um, and so I don't I don't believe that I've been holding on to, like, this, like, idea of, like, not watching it because of that. Um, I think it's always just been, like, I'm not a huge rewatcher. Like, you've probably heard me talk on other podcasts where I've set up like a streaming TV service thing. So, like, I just don't want to pick it. Like, if I've seen something, there's so much other stuff to watch that I don't find myself going back to old stuff that I've already seen, and like intentionally by picking it. Um, 'Cause there's just so many other things to do. And I'm also mired in 4 billion side projects, so that's always a thing. But back to the point of, like, I don't Maybe it's not what I tell myself, I don't know. I don't believe I've ever, like, not watched it again for those reasons, uh, but that's just always been a thing. I've always associated it with that, but it's not the reason. Um, and so then with like when we started the pod and and Andy and I would talk. Like, I mean, Andy was a huge support for me through all that. Like, I think that's for those like I don't maybe I know I've probably kind of mentioned it, but not really gone into detail too many times. But Andy was a huge, huge help. I mean, that was a brutal, brutal time. Like, I'm sure everybody's aware of what it was like going through the pandemic, and then also kind of the stuff with my dad, and just kind of the mysteries behind that, and just kind of the ups and downs, and the all that kind of stuff. But Andy was kind of a rock. He was kind of a like somebody who'd been through some experiences in his life and was able to kind of give me guidance and I don't know, just like a level head to talk about stuff and bounce ideas off of. Um, and he knew. I mean, he knew I hadn't watched Rise of Skywalker, and he never pushed me to watch it. And so it just kind of became like a thing where like we just talked about whatever was on, like the pop culture and stuff. And so then when everything happened with him, with Andy, and um, that's when I think it did all of a sudden kind of become a thing. Then I feel like I really started associating like the Rise of Skywalker, like as like kind of like the changing of a time, and like the not the end of an era, but like the changing of an era where, you know, like higher highs and lower lows. And it just kind of became this thing. And then like and also I think there's also like the kind of the discourse around it. Like, I mean, it's obviously pretty well hated by a lot of people, and kind of seen as whatever people see it as. And so I don't think that all that kind of combined, it kind of became this thing where it's just, you know, I kind of didn't watch any of them. Like, I didn't watch any of the movies for a while. It was just like I didn't put them all back on, because then I think that would be acknowledging that I'm also not watching The Rise of Skywalker. Um, so that's a long-winded way of saying, what better way to come back for this current episode, this new episode, this solo episode, than to discuss my second viewing of The Rise of Skywalker. Um, I've kind of had this idea for a while. I knew I've wanted to come back, but like I knew I needed it to be like I've been looking for the reason to, like what's important enough to come back and do it. Like I know I've got a bunch of friends who um, I've talked with about coming back on, but like I knew I needed this first episode to be something meaningful for me, not just to be the motivation to come back, but but also just kind of to kind of be, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's that motivation to be the thing that pushes you over. Like it's that nudge to say like it's easy to schedule something with somebody, but then how do I, you know, beat around the bush for the first 10 minutes and be like, well, I'm not going to talk about that thing that happens. I think this is kind of full circle, and I think, you know, I don't think Andy would approve of how long I've waited to bring the pod back. I think he would be yelling at me, being like, "What the hell, man? Like, duh, don't do it on the count of me." But I do think he'd be happy with the topic and kind of their justification for doing so. So yesterday, I last night I sat down, no distractions, closed all my windows on my laptop, because I like to watch it on my laptop, so I could watch like be like close, and I have a good kind of like viewing experience on my laptop, and didn't want to be distracted by everything around me, because if it's on the TV, like I'll be like looking around. I don't know. ADHD is strong, so if I put on my laptop and kind of like really dedicate myself to watching it, that's what I did. Um, so I watched the super high def 4K, ultra high def, HDR 10, 10-bit herpaderp version, which looks phenomenal. And I watched it. I sat down, watched it end to end. And you know what? It's not as bad as I remember. Like, granted, granted, I will be brutally honest. Like, it's definitely not without flaws. It's not a perfect movie. Is it my favorite? No. No, it's not. But visually stunning, incredible. Like when you have the chance to watch it in that high of quality, not in a movie theater, not in the hype of all that, and you're just kind of like, oh my god, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, like really kind of taking in like the visual effects of it are just insane. And also, I'll say at the top, I've said it before. Daisy Ridley is 11 out of 10 in this movie. I can say definitively that her white outfit from this movie is without a doubt my favorite Star Wars outfit. Like it is, I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about fashion. I don't know anything about costuming kind of stuff, but that love it. A billion percent. Like can't stop thinking about it. Huge fan. But I will say, I mean the movie definitely has its flaws. There's parts that I didn't even remember. Like I totally forgot that Ray was on the Star Destroyer and like had the confrontation with Kylo like face to face until like the Falcon like blew the exhaust at him. And I was like, I don't remember this at all. Like that's crazy. Because I remember there being like the whole movie is just this. All right, let me back up. Let me say high level. I don't have any paper. I'm just going raw from like watching it and just kind of stewing on it. This movie, it obviously had its odds against it. Like with the passing of Carrie, with the expectations and just kind of being the third film in this trilogy with huge expectations, and also kind of being under the Disney umbrella. I won't make excuses for Disney as a corporation and just kind of how that whole thing works. But it is so obvious to me that this is a movie that was created like it's a movie that's created by a committee. Like I've talked about it on Jam Transmissions with Rick before about like kind of watching like the Patrick really getting into the Patrick Willems stuff and his emphasis on like story versus plot. And everybody complains about plot holes, plot holes, plot holes, but plot isn't what makes good movies and things like that. Like plot is the skeleton, it's the Wikipedia article, it's the what happens, but we don't care about what happens or why. We care about how it makes us feel, and that's what story is. And this is a movie that was death by committee because it focused too much on plot. It it feels like there's a good story in there, like even with the Ray Palpatine stuff, like that could have been like I don't feel as weirdly about it as I did before, but that could have been more okay if it didn't feel so compelled to build all this weird plot all around it. Like Star Wars isn't known. Like go back and seriously put your glasses on and watch all the other movies. Like sometimes things are just the way they are. You don't need to justify like all of the ins and outs and why things happen. It's like it's really just about the story and how we get there and how it makes us feel. And I think that like this kind of plot versus story piece, it feels like there's a good story in there or could have been, and then it got put into a boardroom and too many other people got their hands on it and needed to justify it like, okay, how did they get here and there? And then, oh, we got to introduce this new character. Well, we got to bring in JJ's friends and we got to do this. And so there's all of this kind of like bouncing around in justification when instead of just like they showed up at the place they needed to be and like and things went down, and that would have been okay. I'm sure some people would have complained, but like we don't need every T crossed and I dotted. And I think that's what also leads to just the I'll say it. I think the editing in this is insane. Like especially like that beginning half or that beginning part, like the light speed skipping. It's like there's I get that we need the fun action sequences, but I feel like the editing in that is it's not like you're trying to pack 5 minutes worth of material into a minute and a half, and just the cuts are so fast, and it's like, what is the point of this? And I think there's a major parts of the movie that are that way. Um, Obviously, the Carrie stuff is jarring, and they did the best that they could, like, at a time when, like, we weren't it was not like it is now where we have, uh, face swap Luke and Mando and all these other things, like, it was still kind of early for a lot of that stuff, and it's you gotta do it with care, and I think they did a phenomenal job, but, like, it is jarring. Like, when you sit back, it is hard to not look at that and go, "Oh," like, the words are there, but, like, the expressions, and it's like they're not having a conversation. Like, it is weird at times, um, and you gotta pay homage and that stuff, but I think that's the pieces, it's like there's big chunks of that movie that are pretty good. They're pretty compelling, like, all the stuff on Exegol, like, reads like a horror movie. Like, is it ridiculous? At times, yes. Did they clone brush too many Star Destroyers popping out of the ice or whatever, the ground, and, like, make it a little insane? Yes. Did did they make too many ships pop up at the end? Like, no, it's cool, but, like, did everything just get taken, like, too far to be, like, ridiculous or, nostalgic? Like, you know how I feel about some of this stuff, like the Filoniverse, like, fan service kind of nostalgia pokes, like, I think it could just like, it could have done without some of those, like, the quippy one-liners that like, I think the Han Solo, I think that works. The the Lando lines, I think they're kinda clunky, but, like, overall, I don't wanna sit here and keep dogging on it. Overall, the movie's way better than I remember. The movie is way, way better than I think anybody like, a lot of people give it credit for out there on the internet. Is it the best? Absolutely not. Nowhere close. Um, is it enjoyable? Yeah. If you as somebody who hasn't seen it in whenever it came out, in whatever year it is, I'm kinda glad. I'm kinda glad I haven't watched it. I think it was kind of weird and refreshing. It was almost like watching new Star Wars. Like, I knew the gist, but just to kind of watch it when I did, take years of breaks, letting all of the discourse kind of go away, and I've honestly forgotten a lot of that movie, just like the pieces and the little quips and things like that, and then to come into it, it's almost like watching new Star Wars again. Um, that was fun, and I enjoyed it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I watched it. Um, it's do I am I gonna rate it on Tracked or Rotten Tomatoes? No, because I think I'd give it 4 different scores. I think it's hard to sum up in that without doing different breakdowns and points and stuff. It's like, I'm not I'm not the kind of person who's gonna go and make a fan edit. Do I think I can fix it? No. Do I think I'm not that arrogant. Do I think they need to redo it? No, absolutely not. Like, it is what it is. Like, we got like, I love all Star Wars for what it is, whether the biggest fan of it or not. Like, hot take incoming. Here we go. About to lose some fans. Do I think it's better than Mando season 3? Yeah, I do. Come at me. What do you got to say about it? Um, but it's a fun romp. I think it's gonna be it'll be interesting to see how the next generation, like the younger generation, what they think of it. Um, I know we're all like super connected to the internet and stuff now, but one would hope that they are more like maybe less susceptible to the online forums and stuff that I'm in to talk about Star Wars. Like hopefully there's a nostalgia and a passion for it when they get a little bit older and there's a reverence for it similar to what happened to the prequels. Um, I think it's easy. I've kind of gone through this stuff in my head, and like I know the Kathleen Kennedy stuff kind of came out yesterday, like officially announced, and I'm intentionally not diving into it, and I'm also not digging into it online. I'm not opening any of the subreddits. I'm not engaging in any of the places that I know are going to be headlines. And I did read the Deadline article about your exit interview, but I think I'm trying to going forward, like trying to let things I enjoy be the things that I really enjoy instead of actively searching out what other people how other people are feeling about it. Like I've got my friends, I've got my trusted sources, and I think it's easy to fall into this trap of, you know, I want more Star Wars and I want to engage in Star Wars, but all of our opinions are going to be different. I think it's easy to fall into this place of letting the missed expectations or even just, the criticisms taint the entire experience for us. And for me personally, I think this kind of delayed second viewing of the Rise of Skywalker, and also kind of taking a step back from social media in general, have been kind of I don't know, like the feather in the cap for that for me personally, um, helping me realize it's like I do enjoy engaging in the conversation. I do enjoy kind of debating and talking about the flaws and things like that, but with people that I think are respectful and just not falling into the social media engagement trap. Um, all that to say, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed myself. God, that ending is kind of spooky. All the exegol stuff, like it's visually crazy. Like, have you seen Emperor Palpatine get his like skin ripped off in the end? Have you watched that recently? That's that's nuts. Like, I'm excited. Like, it's got me excited for Star Wars. Like, it's got me excited for Starfighter. Like, I think there's been so many good things coming out recently that so much good content I've watched recently that's been like it's not always the most positive content, like Yellow Jackets, but like we're we've got good content, we've got good stories coming out. Yes, I could talk all day about how I feel like streaming is starting to shift back towards more, I don't want to say procedural, but in that vein where we're not getting complete stories and seasons, but whatever, whatever. We can talk about that another time. But we're getting great content. I loved Stranger Things season 5, Stranger Things 5. I thought it was phenomenal. Was it dorky and cornball? Absolutely. Was it I like Yellow Jackets as much as I hate half those people. Um I'm excited for Starfighter. I'm cautiously excited for Mando and Grogu. Am I going to go see it day one? Yeah. Where am I going to go see it? I don't know because they closed our movie theater. Should I buy the movie theater? I don't know. Pitch in some money and maybe I'll go try to buy it. It's probably pretty expensive being part of a Vail ski resort, but what are you going to do? Does it have me excited to paint models again and finally get Ed and Chris together for Just Crafting? Yes, 1,000,000%. Especially the new board game I got for Christmas. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I'm rambling at this point. Um, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited for Star Wars to be back. I'm excited to connect with our friends again. It's been too long. I'm excited for Celebration LA. Uh, Is it going to be is is there a lot of things I'm worried about for that? Yeah, with the state of the world. But we can get stuck on that another time. I'm excited to see the friends I haven't seen in years at this point. It's 2026. It's 2026. Like we're not promised tomorrow. Like, we all know that. We all know it. And so, trying to make an effort of getting this going again. I'm trying to make an effort to to be more like Andy. Reach out to people, care for others like I want to be cared for. And just engage in the shit we care about, dude. Like it's awesome. Like I'm really excited and look look forward to new content. If you have ideas, send them my way. Um, if you have stuff that you think would be fun to discuss on the pod, or just if you want to make me watch something you don't think I've watched before, hey, send it over. You know how to get a hold of me. Um, got some interesting things going on. I'm also probably gonna have a couple like maybe a couple technical pods. Like I'll label them as such accordingly. But like I think over the last couple years, I've gotten really into some of the home lab self hosting stuff, and I think it's accessible and doable for people to you know have a better media experience and make sure things like last longer than you know DVDs and things that like do degrade over time and whatnot. So yeah, look forward to all that. But I won't drag this out forever because I know at this point it is just me and I don't have a lot to talk about. I'm going to continue to stew on this Rise of Skywalker thing, um, and probably come up with some more thoughts that are maybe more unique than other people have said before. But I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I'm happy to be back, and um, I think that'll be it for this episode. You know where to find us, justchillin.com. It's got links to everything there. You can find me on Discord. You can find me on Blue Sky. I don't really get on much anymore, but you'll figure it out. Um, thanks to everybody who stuck around. Thanks to everybody who've reached out and been supportive. I couldn't have done it without all you guys. And I look forward to talking to you, seeing you, and watching more Star Wars and other cool content going forward. Until next time, I've been Sean. Look after yourselves, look after your family and your friends. See you later. Bye.